Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, and yes, of course I had to do a video about this and, give my thoughts on this subject. And if any of you are hearing about this for the first time, recently, Bob Iger himself announced that there's going to be a couple of upcoming sequels, and those are Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, and Zootopia 2. And yeah, this was, I guarantee you, this was definitely a big surprise for everybody. And my thoughts so far on these sequels happening. Well, here's the thing. I wasn't really surprised to hear about this because, I was like, oh, that's awesome, that kind of stuff. And for a while, they were up in the air. They've been talked about. I know that I've heard something about maybe the possibility of another Toy Story film. I definitely know that I've heard about a possibility of a Frozen 3 and a Zootopia 2. Yeah, because I think, I think it was obvious that we would eventually get a sequel to Zootopia. But I'm going to first talk about Toy Story 5. So, Toy Story 5, well, here's the thing. With the last two Toy Story films, because everybody said that Toy Story 3 felt like the grand finale, the perfect ending, to the Toy Story franchise. But then, of course, years later, Toy Story 4 happened. And, looking into Toy Story 4, and, the thing is, well, John Lasseter, Andrew Stanton, Pete Docter, and Lee Unkrich, they created the story for the fourth film, and, and John Lasseter said that they would only do a fourth Toy Story film if it was good and better than the last three. And when they came up with this idea for, a story for the fourth film, well, John Lasseter said that, he couldn't stop talking about it, and he said that he knew that they had to make this film, and in which they did. And basically, here's the thing. Toy Story 3 ended for Woody and Buzz's adventures with Andy. For Toy Story 4, to me, I think Toy Story 4 ended for, I guess, Woody's adventures with the gang and Bonnie, because, Bonnie just didn't seem to be interested in Woody anymore. Like, that was one of my problems for Toy Story 4. So, so that's how I see Toy Story 4. And with Toy Story 5, according to Tim Allen, Woody and Buzz will be back for Toy Story 5, but the question is how? Is Woody gonna run into Buzz, Jesse, and the rest of the toy gang at some point? Like, we all know what happens with Woody. He stays behind with Bo Peep. Him and Bo Peep, they go on adventures, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, we'll just have to wait and see what Pixar has in store for Toy Story 5. That's all there is to it. And also, obviously, yeah, because we'll obviously, get the return of, say, Forky, because he's now one of the main, characters of Toy Story. Probably we'll get the returning appearance of Ducky and Bunny, Duke Kaboom. And, I would like to see Emperor Zurg come back. He didn't even make an appearance in the fourth film. He should make an appearance in the fifth film, don't you think? Why not say Stinky Pete? I remember a couple years ago, Kelsey Grammer, I read an article that Kelsey Grammer was kind of upset, there's been no update on his character, Stinky Pete. I can't remember what I read from that article, but I just know that he was apparently upset over Stinky Pete, if the character's dead or anything like that. I know that. That's one thing I can remember from the article a little bit, but still, it'd be nice. If they were to bring back Stinky Pete as well, maybe they could. Who knows? Who knows still? And, yeah, so I look forward to when Toy Story 5 happens, and, you know, let's just have to wait and see what they have in store. Okay, and, you know, from Pixar to Disney Animation Studios with Zootopia and Frozen. Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, I changed shirts. Because why not, you know? Now we're talking about, you know, Disney animation feature, you know? So, anyways. So, next I'll talk about Frozen 3. Well, first off, you know, Frozen, what a Disney piece of animation this turned out. The first one. Like, I don't think anybody expected how humongous the first one turned out. It exploded. It was like the biggest movie in the of the world. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you know, there was, of course, the possibility of Frozen having a sequel, and which, yeah, Frozen 2 happened. And boy, Frozen 2 was quite a challenge for the crew. Because the thing is, you know, how can they do a sequel? How can they make a sequel to a musical really good and with new songs? Like, this is Frozen we're talking about. So, yeah, you get my point. But, yeah, they took the risk and they made one heck of a sequel. Frozen 2 was actually pretty good. It had some pretty good songs. Like, one of the big top songs of the sequel was Into the Unknown. It was like the next Let It Go. Which is, yeah, it is true. And now, finally, we are getting a Frozen 3 that has been talked about for quite a while. There was a good possibility that a second sequel to Frozen was going to happen, and now it's official. So, yeah, again, just have to wait and see what the second sequel has in store. We know this, that Anna and Kristoff, they are engaged, and maybe by the third film they will pretty much be married, you know? Well, Elsa, because we all know what happens with her at the end of the film, like, she lives, like, in her own kingdom or something, you know, because she rides a horse through the ocean and that kind of stuff, and I guess, you know, from time to time would visit her sister and, you know, brother-in-law. And with Olaf, well, not much to say on Olaf, of course, you know, him being with Anna and Kristoff, and same goes with Sven. So not much to say on those two. And, you know, Elsa getting a love interest, maybe in the third film, who knows? It's really hard to tell what the third film would have in store. Like, we didn't know what the second film would have in store, but we now know. Like, you know, their hometown, like, you know, their where they grew up and such, it's like it's doomed, that kind of stuff, and of course all turns out well at the end of the film. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what the story for Frozen 3 has in store, and the songs, like, what could be the next big top song for Frozen after Let It Go and Into the Unknown. Like, Elsa has to have a really good song. So, and that, I know that will probably be another big challenge for the Lopez's, you know, Robert and Christian Anderson Lopez. I'm sure, knowing them, they'll come up with a good song. They'll come up with great songs for Frozen 3. So, there's that on Frozen 3. Now, Zootopia 2. I'm very excited for Zootopia 2, because I loved the first film. You know, who doesn't love Zootopia? It was fantastic. Everybody wanted more from the world of Zootopia, and we did. Like, you know, we did get Zootopia Plus on Disney Plus. That was fantastic, and as of now, we're getting a sequel. Yeah, that's exciting. Because Zootopia, I've discussed this before, that Zootopia is one of those Disney films where the story can continue. There's so much that they can do in the world of Zootopia. Awesome, adventurous stories, you know what I'm saying, for Nick and Judy. So much can happen. And yeah, so much can happen in the first sequel of Zootopia, which I am so looking forward to. We all know, for example, that at the end of Zootopia, Nick, he becomes a police officer and, officer partner with Judy. And also, gotta mention this, that Zootopia Plus, the series on Disney Plus, that took place literally in the middle of the film, like from beginning to end. And in the final episode of season 1, it takes place right before the end of the movie, where, Judy and Nick, they chase down a speeding car, and which turns out to be Flash, and, that all of them at the concert of Gazelle. Yeah, so that's, there you go. So, again, there's so much that Disney can do for Zootopia 2. And hey, as long as the directors of the first film, especially Rich Moore, they come back for the sequel, I don't see why they wouldn't. Because why wouldn't they? They have to be on board for anything Zootopia. So, yeah. But yeah, with all that being said, I look forward to these upcoming sequels. And, not to mention, we're also getting an Inside Out 2, as, I've talked about that before. So, yeah, we all know that for Pixar, we're getting an Inside Out 2 and a Toy Story 5, and for Disney, Animation Feature, Frozen 3, and Zootopia 2, are these sequels going to be really good? Are they going to turn out to be, better than the last films? Who knows? Who knows at this time? We'll just have to wait and see what Disney and Pixar have in store for these upcoming sequels. And what about you guys? Are you looking forward to these upcoming sequels? What did you think of my thoughts? Leave comments and give this video a like as always. So, with that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me giving my thoughts on the upcoming Disney sequels of Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, and Zootopia 2, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, and peace out. And to infinity and beyond.